Damn. Damn.
MC, make another hit.
Whoa. This ain't what you want.
Project
This
X,
ain't what
X,
you
X,
want.
X.
This ain't what you want. Ha. 1600 block.
So the defense came to play. I believe the Niners looked like the better team throughout most of the game. Their defense was coming up with stops that I didn't even know they were capable of. How many 3 and outs did Mahomes have? I don't think I've ever seen him get that many 3 and outs. But the offense didn't hold up their end of the bargain, I thought. And the loss of Greenlaw, plus the game going extra, that fourth quarter and overtime, they were gassed. Same thing happened to the Falcons. They were gassed. And the defense came to play.
Going left.
This was
Pacheco gets
huge.
a block, and then they try to strip him of the ball. The ball's out. San Francisco's got it at the 8. San Francisco strips the ball from Isaiah Pacheco as Kansas City threatening at the San Francisco 8-yard line.
That's not a douchebag.
3-0 San Francisco.
So, as a fan, seemed too good to be true. See, the thing is that I grew up a 49er fan during Joe Montana when they won back-to-back Super Bowls in, I believe, 88 and 89. Or 89 and 90, not sure. But I think it's 88 and 89. They beat the Broncos 55-10. So I was all in as a kid. That was my team. I also liked the Bills, but the 49ers were my team. Then entered the Steve Young era. They came up short against the Cowboys. Then the next year short against the Cowboys. And the third one with Deion Sanders. They got over the hump. They won the Super Bowl. I was 13 years old. Never in my wildest dreams, imagination, I would have think that Super Bowl 29, I was going to wait 29 more years, 29 years later, for them to win a Super Bowl. And I say win because I felt they were the better team, and I felt they were hungrier. And Mahomes is human. Look what the Bucs did to him. I had the utmost faith in the 49ers to pull this one off. I thought they were going to pull it off. I was waiting for that last touchdown. I think they needed a 2-possession lead in the fourth quarter. They were down. But to wait this long, and never what I thought at age 13, when I would sport my 49er jacket to intermediate school all the time, that I was going to be 42 years old hoping to see another Super Bowl win. In 2012 against the Ravens, that one scarred me. They did a comeback. It was going to be the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history at the time. They were 5 yards away from winning the game-winning touchdown. Didn't happen. Holding on Crabtree at the end, that wasn't called. Then 2020, I felt confident. I didn't think the Chiefs were all that. The Niner defense was for you, and they had a running game. The best running game in the league. And one of the best defenses in the league. That's all you need. Jimmy G didn't have to be spectacular. He just needed to be a decent quarterback to win that Super Bowl. And they were up 20-10 with about 7 minutes left. And it all went to crap after that. That one haunts me from the missed calls. From calling the Chiefs that year were the team that held the most holding calls of any team in the NFL, yet not one single time they were given a hold in that game. I mean, there's footage of it. It's on YouTube. Bosa being held. Clearly never called. Then when the Niners needed to score, there was a third down where Jimmy G had a throw as the pass rush came. There was a helmet to his jaw. He looked like he might have been concussed after. I don't know if that's ever been verified, but no call. And sure enough, they were calling every ticky-tack thing on the 49ers that Super Bowl. So it was my belief that Brady was out and the new face of the league was in, and that was Patrick Mahomes. But then they went head-to-head, and the calls favored. I stopped watching that Super Bowl of how much the calls were favoring the Bucks that time, and I thought they were giving Brady the best opportunity to win before he retired, because they knew they had the next Tom Brady in Mahomes for many years to come. Believe the Chiefs Super Bowl last year, it wasn't a hold on the Eagles. They had stopped them on third down. Eagles would have had a chance with 3 timeouts, 2 minutes left, to either tie with the field goal or win it with the touchdown. But we'll never know, because they gave the Chiefs a first down on the ticky-tack call. And then this Super Bowl, I said I will live with the result if it's if it's a clean game, if it's a fair and square. But then you have McCaffrey fumbling in the opening drive where they were already in field goal range. You have the missed extra point that probably haunted us, but you can't say that for sure that would have won them the game, because Mahomes would have been trying to score a touchdown in the fourth quarter instead of for the field goal. But the defense was still getting stops at that point. I think they just got gassed out in overtime. I don't know if I'm in shock or just used to it, or if I'm going to get PTSD from watching so many close ones, close calls. The 3 years during Harbaugh where they easily could have won the Super Bowl each one of those 3 years. But, muff punts. The muff punt in overtime against the Giants. The 5 yards short against the Ravens. Then that Seahawks NFC Championship game where they were up also 10-0. And they win that Super Bowl. If they would have won any of those NFC Championship games, they easily win the Super Bowl. They were the most solid team, but they came up short. 12 years later, or actually 8 years later, they're back in the Super Bowl. But I knew Jimmy G was not the guy to do like that crazy comeback or the plays to make it happen. I just knew he wasn't, and I'm happy I couldn't wait till they got rid of him. He never passed the eyeball test. He never passed the eyeball test for me. He overthrowing wide open receivers time and time again. No, he was good because Shanahan knows how to use the quarterbacks, their strengths for the system. I thought Purdy is way better than Jimmy G. He could read the field. He's calm under pressure, and he throws dimes. And he was doing good in the Super Bowl. But those 2 3rd and 4s. The one in the fourth quarter and the one in overtime, where they either could have ran out the clock or they could have scored a touchdown that would have been, first and goal and overtime. I don't know what would have happened if overtime would have ended with both teams tied, but it's to say it sucks is an understatement. I never would have thought they would be this close this many times. Last year against the Eagles, we'll never know. You lose your starting quarterback on the first drive. Game doesn't even... It's like a fluke. The game was a fluke. My eyes look super swollen. I'm looking at that. I was not crying. Surprisingly, I was not crying. But I don't know. I don't know how. I was watching it at Tom's Watch Bar in downtown LA. Then we went to a restaurant around the corner where it was calm setting, sitting outside watching it. They just had the opportunity to win so many times. They couldn't afford to make mistakes. That one fumble by McCaffrey, okay, let that be the only turnover. But then that punt that led to a touchdown, that's easily 10 points right there. You can't let a team see they for most of the game they outplayed the Chiefs, but the score didn't indicate that. So you got to put points to show that. The whole first half, I thought they outplayed the Chiefs, but they should have been up 17-3 at least. That didn't happen. The end, the overtime, it's like seeing what Tom Brady would do with the Patriots. 5-yard passes, quick 5-yard passes. They have their linemen defend so they can attack the side where they're going to throw the short pass to. And that's all it was, little short passes. The one where Kelsey broke loose and took it into the red zone in overtime. If you look at that play, he just They just hiked the ball and he just ran across the field. Like, I don't understand how he goes unaccounted for. You rather lose by Miko Hardman, which they did at the end, but Valdez Scantling, someone who's not that sure of hands or could wiggle out of tackles, and it's beyond me how they allowed Kelsey to get that. I thought Warner